Now you're looking for trouble condition.
All right. Let me know when you're recording.
We are recording.
You do this every time.
Just
Oh,
gotta,
man.
just gotta.
Before we start, I do want to ask your opinion on something. I am curious. It isn't horror related, but it is movie related.
Okay.
You know the movie The Brutalist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it is under heat right now
For AI.
because yeah, the editor admitted to some AI being used. I don't know if I sent you the article or not. Um, I wanted your thoughts on that because a lot of people are saying it shouldn't qualify for Oscars at all or nominations at all.
I think that's a bit, um, much. Um, it depends. I think it is context dependent. How I haven't seen the movie. But what was the AI used
So,
for?
from what I understand, and I could be wrong, this is what I'm getting from articles, is that the AI was used to tweak a little bit of dialogue for Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones's characters. They because they speak in a Hungarian dialect, but there are some words apparently that they pronounced that didn't sound accurate, that didn't sound right. So they used some AI to go back and kind of tweak it up a bit, even bringing back the actors to kind of help re-record some of the lines and using the AI to kind of tweak it so that way it sounded a little more authentic with some pronunciations. I think it's only just a couple moments of dialogue. Nothing even like crazy throughout the whole film or anything like that.
I don't see an issue with that at all.
That's what I'm saying because it just seems like a tool to tweak something. It's like normal ADR where people
Yeah.
go in, they just use AI to kind of like
Yeah.
speed up the process a little bit,
Because
from what I'm understanding at least.
I think I think we have and a lot of companies do this where they're like, we use an AI, and it's like we can throw the term AI around. Um but like in a recording studio, you're using Melodyne to help you fix the pitch. Are we considering that AI? Or should records not be in Billboard Top 100 because Autotune or Melodyne was used? That's kind of how I see that. Like the AI was, if it was like, hey, we didn't like this guy's voice and all of his fucking lines were recorded or done with AI, that's a different story. But if it was just
Yeah,
like a simple line just to help kind of get something to sound the way that they want it to for just a
yeah,
moment, I don't see an issue with that.
yeah.
Um,
And like I said, I don't know if it is just a moment or if it's tweaked throughout the entire film, but from what I'm understanding, it's only like a handful of scenes, nothing even crazy.
yeah. Um, I think AI is a dangerous tool.
Yeah,
AI can be used for a lot of dangerous things, but I bet AI can help. AI can be used to improve or um uh, uh yeah, like I said, just help with things, not necessarily improve. Even though it may, um, but I do think that it can help um projects or processes of whatever you are trying to use it for.
yeah,
Um, as long as it is not taking the job of artists. That is where a line needs to be drawn.
yeah,
So like if you were to use AI for a painting and then sell that painting, um, that's fucking no, you know?
yeah,
But if you're like, hey, this guy needs a Hungarian accent and he's got it, but there are some lines that are just slipping up and he can't seem to get them right. Let's use this to fix that. It's not a big fucking deal.
Yeah, and I don't know, because then it gets kind of, I don't know. I get it, because the moment anyone hears AI, everyone's just gonna jump off and be like, "Hell no!" Like, because
Yes.
they're just gonna associate it with like artists is like getting out of jobs and stuff. But I think when it comes to terms of this, like, it shouldn't disqualify anybody.
As long
Honestly,
as we are not taking jobs from people, um, or harming people's image with
yeah.
AI, I don't I don't see the issue with it.
I don't think it's that crazy, but I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing, but I personally don't think it's that big of a deal in the terms of in the context of how they're using it.
Yes.
Um and I'm sure like it's to enhance the movie, which I'm hearing is incredible. I'm hearing it's a very, very good film. Um I do have to find a theater that's playing it near me because there seems to be none around uh us over here. So I have to check it out. I'm sure it's amazing and phenomenal, and it deserves all the praise it's getting.
Mhm.
And I think it'd be a real shame if something like this were to deter people from watching it. That's just, I don't know, that could be a hot take for some, but I just don't, in the context of how they're using it, I just don't think it should harm this movie the way it's being harmed right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing this is a next American classic too on top of it. So, like, that's kind of insane if that's the case.
It yeah, it's a bit much. I had seen an article about it. I don't think you sent it to me. I think I just saw it like scrolling through Instagram and it popped up. Um,
Got you.
it's a lot for people to lose their shit about, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I just wanted your thoughts on that because I was just curious on your views on the whole issue because just for like I felt like it was something that affects that just affects movies in general and how people are going to be viewing stuff like that moving forward.
Yeah. If they were like, hey, Adrian Brody didn't decided he didn't want to do this, and we used AI to put him in the film to use his voice. Or if they were like, we couldn't find people for this scene in the background, so we used AI. So that was literally not what it was about, but a big part of what the writer's strike was about early last year.
Yeah, yeah.
If they were like, we're gonna fill all these background actors with just AI and not actually have real people, yes, absolutely. Fuck that. That's
That's a hell
wrong.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't even bother.
But yeah, if it's just to fucking modify somebody's voice for a little bit, like fucking Death of Slim Shady, they used AI to make Eminem sound like his younger self. Should that record not be qualified for a Grammy?
No other terms than that, yeah. That's like there's like a fine line with stuff like that because I'm sure it is him still like saying those lines too. They're
It
just
is, yeah.
tweaking it.
They just
Yeah,
used AI to make himself sound younger.
yeah. It's I don't know. It's a touchy subject. I get it, and I would like to hear more from people within the industry and how like it could be affecting them. But it doesn't seem like in terms of that it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But still, I'm sure the editor wish he probably just shut his mouth before the until after the Oscars finished. But then who knows? That could have opened a whole different argument.
Yeah.
Uh, but enough about that AI talk. We are not talking more AI. We are going to be talking horror, and we got two movies that we're going to be discussing in this episode. Um, for those of you that are new, hi, welcome to American Werewolves. I am your co-host Brandon.
And I'm
That
Jerry.
is that is Jerry, and we talk horror movies, horror TV shows, anything horror really. It's only been movies. We haven't talked too many shows or games. There hasn't been anything. I mean, we talked like what Silent Hill 2 and that was it.
I think.
Yeah, and I think we even talked a little bit about A Quiet Place, but that's it.
Yeah. Um, I want to figure out a way to get us into more like games, because like the issue is we're console players, and like
Yeah,
to screen
not PC.
record on. I mean, I'm sure there's a way. You just got to figure it out how to screen record us while playing the game.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it. Just gotta figure it out.
Yeah, which we will eventually. We'll get to that point. But as of right now, we're just talking movies. We got two today, and it's going to be the latest from Steven Soderbergh, which is Presence, and the latest from Lee Winnell, which is Wolfman. Which do you want to start? You want to start Presence, or I feel like we should probably start Presence since it's a little fresh in the head.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So right now, here's our. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say too much about it. I mean, we'll talk, I guess, a little spoilers at the end, but this movie, I knew nothing about this movie going in. I heard about it from you, I think, last month or maybe 2 months prior, where you had mentioned it that it was coming out soon. I avoided all the marketing because I just started hearing some good word of mouth online that there's like a good amount of buzz going on about this movie when it got screened. So I avoided everything. I only knew that Lucy Liu was in it. Steven Soderbergh directed it, and David Coep wrote it. David Coep, who did Jurassic Park, Lost World, all that fun shit. And I went in, and it was not what I was expecting at all. From what you had described and from what articles had described, I thought it was a horror movie. And I guess there's some arguments where someone can say yes, it is, but it isn't it's not a conventional horror movie. If that's the case, it's a supernatural drama that is also a slow burn thriller, at least towards the last half. Um, because it is. I mean, it does get thrilling at the end. Like, I will say this: my whole theater, everyone was freaking out for the last like 20 minutes of this movie.
We were the only ones in my theater.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, we had a crowd in like the back few rows and everyone was into it. They were like going nuts over it. Which was cool. I love that when a whole crowd can like get along with that even if it's small. But yeah, this movie is not horror. It is a drama. It is, from what I understand, the trailers are pitching this as a horror movie and it's not at all what the trailer is pitching. So I'm a little concerned how this movie's gonna do
Yeah.
because I haven't seen too much marketing for it on top of this either. And it sucks. I mean, but it makes sense. It's a January movie. A lot of these movies are kind of just like pushed under, and they're like, all right, let's just see what it makes, if it makes anything. Um, but having said that, I thought this was a really good movie. I actually think it's a very compelling story for reasons I can't get into, but for a movie that I had no idea where it was going all the way till we got to like the very end, I honestly really did enjoy the ending and it's still kind of like been on my mind since. And I'm like, that's actually really solid. I like that. It kind of um it's one of those endings that makes you view the movie through a new lens
Mhm.
if you go back and think about it or if you're going to go back and rewatch it. And I think I just thought it was really cool and really well done, especially for a really small indie movie for like 2 million. Like I thought the script writing was actually very solid. For the most part, there's some things that are kind of iffy here and there, but overall, I thought it was a really good slow burn drama. Um, that it has also this like unique style too, because it feels a lot like Paranormal Activity, because the whole like gimmick of this movie is that there's a spirit or a presence in the house that is just kind of floating around, and it is the POV of the camera. So you're just following this family around this house in long continuous takes. This camera doesn't, it rarely cuts away. And if it ever transitions to a new scene, it kind of like cuts to black, then it comes back. It in that sense, it kind of feels like Paranormal Activity. Um but just in like a whole different style, just being in the POV of this presence that's floating around, which I thought it was cool. Um I don't know what you thought of the filmmaking style. Do you think it worked for you? Do you think like it actually helped this film
I really
elevate more
enjoyed.
from a lot of these other stories?
Yeah, I mean, are we talking like just the cinematography of it?
Yeah, just like the cinematography, like if you felt like it helped enhance the story and like,
I
you
do.
know, if it worked for you.
I liked the camera work in this film. It made it feel a little more intimate. It made it feel like, I don't want to say like you were there with the family, but it made it feel kind of. I don't know how to say it without like. I don't want to say I felt like I was there with the family. No, I felt like I was sitting in a theater, but it feels more intimate. It felt the camera. It felt a little more natural. Um,
Yeah.
it didn't feel like watching a typical movie.
Yeah.
And I really was into that and that
Yeah.
style of work, and I kind of wish we had more stuff like that where the camera was just a little more natural moving,
Yeah.
and not locked into shots. Not for everything, not for something like Nosferatu, where the scenery really is something and those shots are there for in
Yeah.
position for a reason. But I think other like dramas could potentially benefit from a camera work like that.
Yeah.
Um, I did like what it did for the movie.
Yeah. And it doesn't, the so-called gimmick, I like that it doesn't feel like a gimmick. It actually
Yeah.
feels like a tool that it enhances the story and it
Mhm.
really does work, but especially by the very last shot of the movie when it wraps up, it really does like I think come together very nicely.
Yeah.
Um So yeah, to get into like I guess the story of it, it's just a family's moving in to this new house, and I believe they're the first to check it out, and they immediately hop onto it because they're like anyone else that sees this house, they're gonna get it. It's like we're gonna have to get this now. So they move in, and there's some tension going around, mainly surrounding the daughter in the film. The daughter has gone through a tragedy where her friend has sadly passed away, and her her dad's concerned and the mom is too busy wrapped up in some work stuff, and then her brother is uh I believe a star athlete that is just focusing on that, and you can tell this family is kind of not all together right now. They're very much in their own little world, their own their own little story. And then that's when they start noticing the presence in the house. Particularly the daughter notices it more, and they start to believe that there's something in there, and they're trying to basically solve it for most of the movie. Well, not really solve it. They're kind of going through most of their own drama, but that is I guess the story, the basic story of it. That there is something in the house they're dealing with on top of the family drama. Now, for the acting, I thought everyone was on point. Lucy Liu, I haven't seen her in a while, but she was really good in it. And um, what was it? Chris Sullivan, I believe, who plays the father. He was
He was the best
he was
character.
phenomenal. Yeah, he was awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
I found out he's the dude from Stranger Things in the first two episodes that takes 11 in to the shop.
Ah, I
That's
knew I
him. Yeah,
recognized
yeah,
him.
yeah. I knew it too because it was in my head. I was like, he's somebody, and I know he plays someone else, but I forgot now. Um, but that's where I like it clicked after a while. But yeah, he was really good. They were both really, really good. I liked their dynamic. And I thought the main girl was really good too. I forgot her name. I feel so bad. Um Dude, I completely forgot her name. That's so bad. Um, you're gonna have to look that up for me. Make up for my sins, will you? Um, but as Jerry looks that up, I thought she was phenomenal. Everyone in the movie was phenomenal. There's not that many actors in it, but they do really good.
Okay. Kalina, uh,
Selena?
like yeah, Kalina. It's two L's, so it's kind of
Mm,
I don't know where the emphasis is supposed to go, but Kalina maybe Lang.
gotcha. Right on. Well, regardless, Miss Lang, you were phenomenal in this movie, I thought, and I would honestly like to see more of her. It was one of those like performances where like she doesn't do much in like the first half of the movie, but as it progresses, you start to learn more about her, and you kind of like do feel for her and like get behind her
Mhm.
for a lot of this movie, which you need. So thankfully, it works. And the brother was fine too. Um, he wasn't my favorite character in this movie.
No.
He was, which is purposeful, the way he's written, but I didn't like that. Also, they're promoting Julia Fox in this movie like she's a big part of it. I see her like she's getting like I think top billing. She's in the first scene and that's it.
Emma leaned over and she was like, "Is that Julia Fox?" And I was like, "I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
I don't know who Julia Fox is."
she's an icon. Um, no, she's the chicken Uncut Gems.
I
I don't know if you watched Uncut Gems or
No,
not.
I didn't.
Oh man.
Um,
Well, yeah, she's in it, and I didn't even recognize her until I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh wait, she's in the beginning." Like, it didn't even look like her because her hair's different. But but yeah, she's in it, and I love that. I just think it's funny that they're promoting it like she's like really in this. Like, she's even in the Sundance Film Group photos and all that stuff. Um, what's with the
actress.
face?
No, I'm trying to see if I've like seen her in anything. Yeah, I've got no idea who she is. But continue.
Yeah, yeah. Regardless, um, everyone's really good in the movie. It I will say there's like some moments in writing where there's things that happen in the movie or there are things that are alluded to in the movie and they don't really go into it. And it's kind of one of those things where like you could kind of piece it together if you're paying attention enough and you're like, all right, I see that. But there are other things where I'm like, all right, no, I need an explanation on that. You cannot like leave that in the air. It's a little too weird to just leave in the air. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I get why I can understand an argument as to why they never go into it. However, I can also have a counter argument for that argument, which I can't really
Okay.
go into without
Unless we talk
spoilers.
spoilers. Yeah. Which I guess we should go into now. There's not much else to say about this movie. I think it is definitely worth the watch. I don't think you have to rush to see it in the theater though. You
No.
can wait till it's streaming, honestly. Or if you really want to watch it, go on a discount Tuesday or something.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It really was not what I was expecting going into it. I
Yeah.
was
Don't
expecting
expect a horror movie.
not you're
Do
not
not expect
you're
don't
not gonna
expect no
get
conjuring.
yeah, even the slightest bit of like horror. Like that's not what it is. We
Yeah.
probably honestly shouldn't even be reviewing it because it's not
Yeah.
horror, but it
Yeah.
is
Like, we're reviewing it because it is labeled as horror. People are seeing it as horror, so like,
yeah.
people are expecting it. Um, but it's not horror.
No.
It's sure it's a little maybe it's a little thrilling by the end, with the sequence that goes down. I mean, my theater and we were all freaking out, but in the fun way, not like a oh my god, that's scary way. Um, so yeah, I think it's definitely worth watching, definitely worth your time. It's something different, especially in the genre, and I respect it for that alone.
Yeah.
Um, there's some writing that's some really good that is really good in there, and then there's some writing that I think is kind of just a little generic, like oh yeah, we've been here, done this before. Like, do we have to keep doing this? Um, but yeah, overall, worth watching.
Yeah, it's worth
Um,
watching. It is a good movie. Go into it expecting a drama. I do think me going in expecting a horror and not getting that, especially like after watching a trailer and stuff, like
Yeah.
it does kind of ruin my perception of the movie a little bit. Like I think I would have
Yeah.
gone in with a better outlook on the film if I had known what I was getting into.
There you are.
Yeah, my internet, I don't know what just happened there. My internet was like not, it said it was connected, but like it was also like no internet available. And I was like, oh, what the fuck do you mean? But I guess just pick up back where we were. Yeah, it was good. Go see it. Go into it
Yeah,
knowing
yeah.
it's a drama. I give it a 7 out of 10.
I would give it a 7.5, actually. Honestly. It's it's not what I wanted, but I'm glad I got it. And I would definitely watch it again when it comes on streaming.
I'll give it a 7.75, bitch.
Oh, is that it? I'm gonna give it a 7.99. Bitch.
No, I'm gonna pull that back. 7.
You take that back. It's already up there, all right? It's already recorded. Don't you dare back out, all right? You in it. Oh man, but
But
I loved it.
oh, but going into spoilers before we move on.
Support that indie movie, man.
Before we move
Oh
on.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
spoilers.
So in the movie, the mom.
Okay, so let's get this straight. The mom's trying to fuck the son, right?
Yeah, dude.
Like you can't tell me that's not happening.
Dude, it was so weird.
Yo, I was so confused. It was so.
It's so
fucking
fucking uncomfortable.
I went to watch this movie with my mom, and the moment she started like touching his hand, she looked at me like, "What the fuck did you take me to see?"
It's so fucking. And then the scene where he's telling like the story of the prank that they pulled on the girl, and she's so fucking invested. Like,
Yeah,
why is she invested in
like
this
all
teen
flirty
drama?
and everything. It's
dude,
so weird.
It's fucking uncomfortable as shit.
Oh my god. It is so uncomfortable.
Yeah, dude.
And it's never brought up in any way.
Her
Like
obsession.
the dad is not like doesn't bat an eye for some reason. He's
No.
not like.
It's God, I don't even know what to say. It's fucking weird. It's really uncomfortable to watch.
It's so weird. And they never go into it at all. But and like yeah, and she has this thing where she hates the daughter, but she never they never go into why.
They literally never explain why she's so obsessed with her son and why she fucking despises her daughter. Like
yeah. I don't get it. And it never goes into what she's doing that is clearly illegal with her job or something.
Yeah,
like you can kind of piece together it is embezzlement. That's what I pieced together by the end of it, that it was just that. And or it was something like to help her son get into like college, to like some school after he graduates, because she talks about it when she's flirting with him and shit, and like saying everything I do for you and stuff like that, clearly drunk. So I feel like it may have to do with that, but I'm not too sure. That's just what I'm piecing together.
Yeah, they never go into it, and the argument that I was talking about earlier, you could argue that plot twist, the ghost is the son the whole time, which I'm gonna get into that too. You could argue that we don't know because the ghost is the son and he wouldn't know. But also, counter argument, he's a fucking ghost walking around this house the whole time. He can piece shit together. It's gonna come out. She's gonna slip up. She's gonna say something. Throw that scene in there. But you drop this story point, which does cause a fracture in the relationship of the parents, and you never really do anything with it.
Yeah. And I can understand why, because it seems like the main focus is the young daughter.
Yeah.
But
Why have
and
it?
it does build intrigue, but it doesn't pay off.
It doesn't go
That's
anywhere.
just the only. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just there to kind of build intrigue, and you can kind of piece things together from here and from
Yeah.
things here and there.
Yeah.
That's about it. Um, but I guess it's purposely done that way because it wants to build discussion. It wants to have people kind of like friends like leaving the theater and talking over like, so what do you think that was about, and this and that. It's just it's one of those things, and yeah. I mean, like I said, the only thing I know is that the mother is just doing something fraudulent, and that is the most we get. Now the ending, with the son being revealed to be the presence in the film. I Now I knew it was not Nadia because it's heavily implied in the beginning that it's the daughter's friend.
It's too easy.
It was too easy. Then I started to think the moment the medium came in and then she started going on about like, oh, spirits, I get confused. A lot of them, travel to different time periods in time and like they don't know where they're at. They're confused. So that's when I started thinking, oh, it's the daughter. Um and something's gonna happen to the daughter. And then when she says the medium comes back and is trying to say something's gonna happen with the window, I was like, oh, so the daughter's gonna fall out the window. And then by the end, it's revealed that it's actually the son who, because during the scene where the she's about to get SA'd, um, or just hurt by that what's that guy's name? Ryan, the friend,
Something like that.
the
Which
friend of the
I
son.
didn't like.
Yeah,
I didn't like this fucker the second he stepped on screen.
yeah. No, I was like, this guy just sucks. And then like the way he talks and stuff like that, like I was like, he just had me laughing.
When he
For most
first
part.
starts like breaking down,
Yeah, that had me laughing because I'm like, this just sounds like a dude that's just trying to say anything to get laid, right?
dude,
Like, me and my theater were laughing. I'm not gonna lie, like it was kind of funny.
thank God my theater was empty because I literally went, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, I
Like,
was like, what? Dude, me and my mom we were goofing at that guy. We were like just saying whatever to get his dick touched or
yeah,
something. Like, uh, it yeah, I just didn't like him. And I mean, I think the actor did a fine job. He did a good job making me hate him because I
yeah,
really, really hated this guy, especially by the end for the disgusting things he was going to do. It really like, yeah, it was honestly that shit was unnerving. So good job on that actor. But yeah, with the son being revealed to be the presence, I thought it was a nice twist. I just only wish that we kind of had a little more arc with the son. There wasn't really much for me to like him. The only thing is like you get the dad yelling at him saying, "For once, can you just defend your sister?" And like then that kind of comes back into play when he actually literally saves her life.
yeah. Well, I think that was the arc. Is
Yeah.
his character development ends post life in the afterlife, and that's where he becomes the man that he could be. Now, and we're gonna get into timeline logistics here. I understand that ghosts or spirits, whatever, do not follow our rules of time. However,
Hmm.
how the fuck is there a spirit created, or a ghost, or entity, presence, whatever he is, if the event has not happened yet? I would like an explanation on what.
That's another thing I was trying to discuss after the movie.
So dude, I was in the car and Emma's like, "Well, they don't follow our rules of time." I was like, "I understand that, but he hasn't died yet. So how are we following through his eyes in the whole film if he's alive? Is this ghost from a different timeline? Did he move to this timeline to prevent this from happening? Is there a timeline
That's
where where Ryan succeeds because Tyler doesn't die? But then how did this Tyler die to come back and prevent this from happening? I don't.
Yeah. And then you can argue that like, oh, it's not Tyler that he's just the presence that's there now, and then there was a different presence the whole time. And it's like, well, then who's that? And then that's a whole other series of questions that don't get answered.
Yeah,
Um,
the twist is cool because I didn't see it coming, and like you see him
yeah,
at the end, and you're like, oh shit, and it kind of makes you want to go back and watch the movie, and you'll understand
yeah.
certain
Like certain things
things.
that happen. Yeah, like when
Yes,
he's talking to his mom and then his room gets trashed, you could take it as a sign of he's getting fed up with his old self. Like he can't believe he thought that was right
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah. You will pick up on things knowing what you know
Yeah.
now.
Well, that girl died, right? The girl he pranked, Simone, or she went mental, as like the Ryan character said.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess like yeah, that's obviously like the Ryan kid's fault. I could have sworn I think he said like she died after, but like I could have been misremembering that.
I don't
Um,
I don't think she died. I think they
no, no,
sent
no.
her to like like a hospital or
Mental
something.
institution. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The but yeah, it's just a series of like it's just like a one plot hole where like, well then there's so many more questions I got. How does that make sense and this and that?
Yeah, just
Um
how does this ghost
because like
exist when
then
he's still
who
alive?
originally saved her or did she die before? And
Right.
like that was it.
That's like I don't but then if she died before, if he is from a different timeline, how was he what then killed him to bring him to this timeline to fix it?
The only argument I could think was like maybe the same thing did happen, but like he was too late to save her. That's the only argument I could think of.
Okay, yeah, there could be that.
Yeah, like where like he did the Tyler like did get up and push the guy out the window, and maybe the daughter died too. But instead, this time now maybe the daughter's alive. I don't know.
Which I don't think any of that happened. I think there is just one timeline and this go because they try to explain it and they say time doesn't work the same for these entities and they're not lost in the past. They kind of just exist. They don't know past or present or whatever.
Yeah,
But it doesn't make sense why he's there if Tyler's still alive.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But at least
Help
in that
me.
context of that, like maybe there is like there's gonna be like a video breakdown on YouTube in the next month or two that comes out and someone breaks it down, and I'll be like, okay, I'll take it. But until then, I guess I'm too dumb to fucking piece it together because it really doesn't. It doesn't make sense in that context unless he's timeline hopping.
I don't think we're going to get an explanation that makes sense.
No, but we'll get something close, hopefully, down the line. But either way, I think that's what's going to make this movie kind of stay in the discussion for as long as it stays in the discussion. It's just this conversation, um, which is intriguing, but it is also equally frustrating. um, but still, it doesn't take away my love for the movie. I think it's a really well done movie. It's not
Yep.
too long, thankfully. It's only like 80 something minutes. Thank God. Every movie has to be 3.5 hours now. Um, so yeah, uh, loved it. Go see Presents.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this also. I did enjoy Presents a little more than this next movie.
Yes.
Not to take away from my enjoyment of this movie, but Wolfman was a bit disappointing for me. For a variety of reasons.
Yeah. Did your opinion change? Because I remember you finishing the movie and you texted me like you need
Mhm.
to run and see this. And I was like,
Yes.
"Oh damn, this movie must be phenomenal." And I
Yeah.
got out of the theater and I was like,
It's so funny because after I texted you that, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about the movie and I'm like, wait a minute. And then I start thinking more about certain things and certain script stuff, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. and um now when I was watching it, I knew off the bat, like by the time it ended, like it's not my favorite Lee Winnell movie. Lee Winnell is the writer director of this. He did Saw and Invisible Man and Upgrade, Insidious, all this crazy stuff. He's a horror legend at this point when it comes to filmmaking. And I remember thinking it's not my favorite from him, but I still really enjoyed it because I liked certain things about it. And then it was one of those where like the more I sat on it and the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, this isn't that good. It is it's there's certain things that I feel like they really missed the opportunities on when it comes to just like certain story beats and certain themes and uh character moments. Um it's gonna feel a little redundant, in my opinion, on Wolfman because after just listening to Presence, because it's kind of the same thing where there's certain things where they just needed to be further elaborated on, and it's like the movie just refuses to do it for some reason. Um, Mainly when it comes to the characters in this movie. Um, for the plot, it follows Blake, played by Christopher Abbott, who is going out to his father's home in the middle of nowhere in the woods with his wife and their 8-year-old daughter, 10-year-old daughter,
Young
something
daughter.
around that. Young daughter. Um, they go out there and immediately shit hits the fan. There's a wolf attacking them, and they have to try to survive and get out of that area. Um, I'll tell you this: I like that the movie just jumps for it. It doesn't waste its time. It's like, no, no, we're gonna get into it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's cool. Just jump into the werewolf action, the werewolf horror, and then you realize there's not going to be a lot of that going on in this movie because the majority of the movie is them in this house, talking to each other, and the father who gets sliced up starts to slowly get infected. From what I understand, this movie gave away a lot in its trailers, to the point where they even released um, a big part of the werewolf transformation online.
Hmm.
So, yeah, this movie's not hiding a lot from the viewer before anyone goes to see it. It's kind of giving you most of the movie and like the moments. Um, Now, this movie has a unique concept when it comes to like the werewolf lore, in the sense that they're treating it like an infection, like a disease. They're calling it like a some wood disease, or like something of the wolf.
The face of the wolf.
Face of the wolf. Yeah, it's like a disease that goes around in the wolves, like a cabin fever of some sort. And they treat it as this long process of this infection that starts to slowly take you over time. And we see, as soon as Christopher Abbott's character gets sliced up, he becomes, immediately starts to slowly turn into it, and he starts getting this weird werewolf tunnel vision where he sees everything different. It almost looks like he's on acid and he can't hear anything straight. And you just see the long ruling process that takes over. So if you were expecting a werewolf movie with a lot of monster action, it's not here. This is a very small character drama that just so happens to have this character turning into a wolf, which you could also argue it's not really a werewolf.
It's not.
Um, it's not. He's just going rabid like a dog.
Yeah.
But
Um.
if you once you see the transformation in the final product, he doesn't look like a wolf.
No.
And that's like the main gripe. I mean, if you remember, like I remember, like we were walking around Halloween Horror Nights last year, and then we just saw the dude in the werewolf costume, and we were told that was our Wolfman, and everyone was dogging on him so bad that they took him away after like not even a week. It
Yeah.
was that was bad.
I understand the need or the desire to change the design, because I do think that if we got like a full like wolf, like a werewolf, it would kind of change the tone of the film. That being said, I also like that. Um, well, I'll get to that. That being said, I think the design could have been better. I like that his face was still kind of his face, and you kept the humanity of him a little bit,
Yeah,
and that he didn't
and
just turn
you can see a lot of Christopher Abbott's performance through those facial features still too, like all those prosthetics. It works very well.
yeah, and that he didn't just turn into a dog. But I do think that the design could have been a little more wolf leaning, because it is very human leaning. And he's not really, he's just like shirtless old guy in the locker room at the gym. Like that's kind of the
Yeah,
level
yeah.
of hair that's on
Possibly
him.
homeless. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's
Yeah,
not
he is losing hair on top of it.
Yeah,
Uh
he's losing hair on his head, and then he grows a fucking chin strap. Like, what the fuck?
that is hilarious, dude. Which is also funny because like we'll get to spoilers, but there's another werewolf design that looks better than the main wolfman design in this movie that
Yeah,
we get to see.
I think you could argue that that one's been a wolf longer, because
Yeah, I just wish that was our main look because
yeah,
that looked good. I was like, okay, I like that. Why are you giving me this? This is
yeah. I
it was
wish
a choice, man. It was just a very confusing choice.
I wish we got um
Yeah,
I wish we got a better movie. Um,
yeah. And I feel bad saying it because it's really not like that bad of a movie.
no,
The fact that I have to say that it's not that bad, it kind of shows that it's probably that bad. I don't know, man.
it's
It's
it's not a bad movie. It's just I think what bothers me, it could have been executed better. And I think
way
what
better.
bothers me is that I love Universal Monsters,
Yes.
and we're not gonna get a like this was the one chance to get a updated, not one chance, but in a fat minute to get a classic Universal Monster film that is great. And we're not gonna get another Wolfman until somebody decides to remake it in another 10,
Well,
15 years.
dude, no. Remember, we got Werewolf coming out from Robert Eggers coming out next year. I think. Yeah,
But
it's 2026 Christmas.
Werewolf,
And
yeah,
yeah, but and I'll say and I'll do this argument. Focus Features is a Universal off-brand production company, and I feel like at this point they're kind of letting Robert Eggers do his own little thing with their monster movie ideas
okay.
because they got Nosferatu and now they got Werewolf. So in my way, I feel like Robert Eggers might potentially get it more right and more classic than this one did.
Yeah. Um,
And you know what's the biggest shame is that Lee Winnell has already tackled one Universal monster, and
yeah,
he did it perfectly, in
yeah.
my opinion.
Mhm.
I've seen that movie so many times, and it's always like it's always so fun. It's so good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and I know I shouldn't compare, but it's kind of shocking that he
Just missed
kind of
it.
missed the mark on this one.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like it was so easy to fix. Like all he had to do was just run it a few more drafts before finalizing, and that's it. I feel like there's just a few things that needed to be tightened up.
Now, what are the issues? Other than the design, I think the film, I don't want to say lacks plot, because there is a plot. There is a clear plot.
Sure.
It lacks beats within the film that make it interesting. It lacks um the plot points in a 3-act story that make you want to that pull you in. Um it's a lot of cat and mouse, and them wolf is here, we gotta run, and now the wolf is here and we gotta run away. It's there
Yeah.
now and we gotta run away. Um they The only part where they truly genuinely try to get the fuck out is when they start up the car,
Yeah.
and then that's it. Like they leave the car, and then they kind of just keep running in circles the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
and it just it
We're
felt
like run out the
boring.
house, run back into the house, run out the house, run back
Yeah,
into the
it
house,
was
run
just
out the house, run back in.
it was
All right, we gotta get out.
boring. Um, it it just wasn't
They,
entertaining, and I wasn't looking for an action film, but I was looking for a little more, I don't know, adrenaline. Show me that you want to fucking survive.
yeah,
Um,
like because the whole goal of the movie for these characters is just survive.
yeah,
That's it. It's like Walking Dead. You know, their goal is just to survive. Yeah, there's like a plot here and there, but like the character stuff. But the main goal, the main fucking plot of the movie is just survive for these characters. Um, a problem I have is they set up Christopher Abbott's Blake in the beginning, and it shows him hunting with his father when he's a kid and the relationship he has with his father. And it kind of ties into the themes of this movie's trying to explore it's like when it comes to like, you know, relationship with, you know, with fatherhood, with, you know, generational trauma, um being a parent, like the fears of being a parent and stuff like that. Like this movie, you know, definitely sets those themes up. And then we cut to, you know, Blake older with his family, his own daughter. You see some of that anger that his father had in him, but he tries to like hold it back. And it's it gets a little more set up, and then I feel like the theme for that kind of fizzles out halfway through the movie. And I don't want to say too much because that's kind of like a spoiler bit, but they do kind of have like a, I don't know if they can even call it, they had a conclusion to that theme being set up with like the fatherhood relationship and stuff, but it kind of doesn't really go anywhere. And at a certain point, you know, Christopher Abbott is set up as like the main character we're following, but then it kind of starts to set up the mother, played by Julia Garner, and it kind of sets up an arc she has with the daughter where she feels like she doesn't have a relationship with her, and that never gets brought back up.
yeah,
And it's a series of things that this movie's doing where it doesn't, it's setting more things up and then it doesn't go anywhere with it.
yeah. The mother daughter relationship never, like, nothing really happens with that. I will say the relationship with him and his dad is his dad was all about like protecting him, but he just
Yeah,
went about it the wrong way.
yeah,
And
yeah.
his whole thing is what he tells his daughter is that, you know, my job is to protect you. And at the end, he does wind up protecting her by. Have we let any spoilers slip? I don't know. He does
I
wind up.
don't think so.
He does wind up.
I no, no.
He does wind up protecting her by doing what he has to do.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what brings that storyline full circle. I can see that. But yeah, the Julia Garner, that doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. And which is a shame because, you know, I like that the movie doesn't want to focus too much on the horror and it's like we want to focus more on the character relationships. That's fine, you know, do something different if you want, but you're not doing much with that either. So it's kind of just like missed opportunity all around in this movie. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I appreciated the idea so much at first that it was focusing on characters that it didn't start to hit me just how much it was also lacking until afterwards, which, you know, it's rare, but it happens with me sometimes with movies. That's why I need to sit on them sometimes before I give like an actual review. Um because it takes a while to really settle in and have me kind of like process everything. Um but yeah, that's it's a shame, but regardless of the things that didn't work for me, those moments, I still think this was a really, I thought it was a fairly entertaining werewolf movie. I mean, I love Wolfman. I love anything Wolfman, really. And I really, you know, there's been a lot of bad werewolf movies out there, but I thought this was a really good one. It it's not one that I'd be like rushing people to go see, but I can definitely see myself watching it with some friends, like if it comes on streaming one day. Um, but yeah, I think there are better werewolf movies out there. I mean, shit, dude. Curse from Wes Craven is better, and that movie's not even that great, in my opinion. Like that movie's like actually no, I'm gonna have to take that back. That movie's pretty bad. Um, but yeah, there's just better ones out there, man. It is disappointing, but I don't hate it. I think a lot of people are being harsh on this one. I think it's still good. Um, do you want to talk spoilers with this one? Is there anything particular?
Not necessarily. I don't. There's
Yeah,
nothing. It's just. I
I've
think.
said everything I needed to say. I think like
Yeah, I think we've been able to mention the issues without really getting into spoilers because there isn't much to spoil. Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
kind of not a ton really happened. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot.
yeah,
It lacked substance for me. Like there.
yeah. Like there's not much in the character drama to really um like it's the I don't know, it's like the stuff with like the other werewolf that's attacking them, like that stuff is cool, but that stuff doesn't really get explored, and you'll know what I mean when you see it.
Yeah.
Um and the design on that other werewolf is really cool, the one hunting all of them down. And I like the visual stuff with Blake when he starts to transform. I think it's sad that like his family's trying to talk to him and then he's only seen in his werewolf vision and he can't understand them. I think
Yeah.
that's like heartbreaking as hell. And that's about it they do with it. There's some good tension in the movie. There's like some great moments of tension, but they kind of they kind of don't last long and there's Lee Winnell's done better in his other movies when it comes to building tense scenes. There's there's two Saw references in this movie. Um, one
Yeah.
is one in the very beginning. Um, it's in the street when it's the first scene with Christopher Abbott when he pops up with his daughter and he's crossing the street. You'll see it if you pay attention to like your surroundings.
Mhm.
And then there's another one which if you don't want to hear it, spoiler alert, but like I don't think it's that much of a spoiler, but there's a scene where a werewolf gets their leg trapped in a bear trap and it literally has to like cut out of its leg and crawl away with one foot just like Saw. So I thought that was funny. I know a lot of people would probably be annoyed about that, but as a massive Saw fan, I thought that was awesome. Other than that, I got nothing else to say for this movie.
Yeah. It's
um, I give it a 6.5.
um I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay, yeah, because I
Slightly
think
above
I enjoyed it. I
average.
think I still enjoyed it a little more than you.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really wanting I was wanting kind of something like this, The Strangers, the original
Right.
Strangers. Um but with like werewolves where like they need to survive. Um and this felt, I mean, yeah, they are surviving for like half the movie, but once the last half of the film or maybe last like quarter, like, and there isn't really like a threat anymore. um I don't know. I don't know. It's just like
Yeah.
I said, it's a lot
Also,
of cat and mouse and not.
yeah, and there's other things like more and more I think of. I'm just like none of this makes sense. Like, they're saying like, oh, there's this like infection going on in this woods, and like everyone's slowly getting infected. Why aren't people moving? Why are they still there? Why?
Do you think it's because in the beginning, like when his dad is on the radio and he's like, I saw it. And then he's like, saw what? He's like, you know what I mean? Do you think that people just don't like actually like it's a legend there. Like that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
no,
think.
it's a
Like,
legend. But after 20 years and it's still happening, I think it's safe to say, hey, you know what? I don't think it's safe. I think this isn't a legend anymore. People are legit. Albert's throwing up in the corner and his eyes are blood red. I think something's going on. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts at a certain point. Get out. Leave. Oh, it's dude.
yeah.
Get out. Jordan Peele. No.
Um, but we have The Mummy, and we
Hmm?
have other Universal movies. We've got The Mummy.
Oh wait, yeah, there is a Mummy movie coming up. Who's making that again?
Um, oh god, what's his fucking name? Evil Dead Rise. What's his name?
Lee Corrin.
Yes,
Cornyn.
yes,
Yes. Okay. Yes, I knew it was someone that I thought would be a perfect fit, and from Evil Dead Rise, that's already seems like his vibe.
and James Wan remaking Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I'm excited for that. And then we got Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein movie coming out,
Yes.
along with Maggie Gyllenhaal's Bride of Frankenstein. Which that one sounds like it's gonna be weird. So we'll see.
Yeah, it
It
does.
sounds like it's gonna be insane because they compared it to like Bonnie and Clyde,
Yeah,
and I was like, huh.
yeah. I think
It sounds like it's gonna. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like it's gonna try to be like Lisa Frankenstein.
I fucking hope not.
I feel like it's gonna try to get at least that vibe.
I think Guillermo del Toro is going to be very Mary Shelley, Frankenstein,
Yeah.
and then Maggie Gyllenhaal is going to be like Joker Part 2.
Oh man, I hope not.
I don't
Oh,
see.
Julia did.
Not in terms of quality. I'm sure it will be better than that, but
I don't think it's gonna be that hard to be better than that.
in
This
terms
one.
of these two beings.
That's my fuck shit up.
Speaking of
Whatever.
fuck shit up
Um,
and two beings, I gotta finish Creature Commandos.
Creature Command. Oh, the James Gunn show.
Yeah.
Okay, James Wan. Hell yeah. You have to. That show's great.
Yeah, I have two
What else do
episodes
we got
left.
coming out? What else do we have coming out? We got Companion coming out.
So Companion comes
the
out this
31st.
Friday.
Yeah.
Heart Eyes comes out after that. Right after that is the Monkey, which the Monkey maybe
No, it's like 2 weeks after.
it may be
Which
sooner. It may be this
maybe
Monday.
sooner. Yes. I already got my tickets.
I have to buy my ticket.
Yeah. I'm fingers crossed it's the Monkey, man. I mean, I saw the runtime for the Monkey got released. It doesn't line up with the runtime for my showing, but I've looked on Reddit and people are saying, they kind of post that they'll post a little more sometimes, I think, if just so that way they can hide it. Like, oh, it'll be like they'll put an hour 40, but it could be like an hour 35, as long as it gives you time, lets you know, like, hey, in that time frame, you're still going to be in the movie theater.
How much different was the runtime?
Like 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
Oh, they probably cut out like credits or something.
It'll still be the movie. It'll still have trailers, but I think honestly they had to just change the time. But I don't know, because I looked up every horror movie coming out, and none of them have that runtime. Every movie of 2025 I looked up, none of them have that same runtime. So we'll see. I hope it's the Monkey though. I'm like fingers crossed, because if it's Companion, that's just gonna be a slap in the face. It's like, bro, I could have waited 4 days, but all right. It's just
Yeah, no, I don't think it will be. That would be really disappointing.
this Monday. So this Monday we're gonna see it at, I think at the same time. So I'm excited to wait. Go get your text and be like, bro, this ain't it, the Monkey.
It's gonna be something random. It's gonna be like,
yo, they're forcing me to watch Joker Part 2 again. It's really just screams and thrills.
Yeah, it's gonna be. What's a random fucking horror movie come out?
Oh man, it's gonna be that's coming out.
Yeah,
Oh no, Fear Street Prom Night or Fear Street Prom Queen.
yeah, it's gonna be fucking something like that. It's gonna be. Oh fuck! Wait, hold on.
Oh no.
Hold on.
Did you just find out? Oh no! No, what is it?
Hard Eyes is
What?
an hour 37.
Oh man, 2 minutes.
It comes out 2 weeks later.
I wouldn't be mad.
Week later.
I wouldn't be mad. But I really, really want it to be the monkey, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad either, but
But
like,
something tells me it's not. You want to know why? Because Hard Eyes is arguably going to be the smaller movie, and I feel like they're going to really want to push that one.
yeah, I don't think they would do it for
Yeah, like
like
Osgood Perkins, he's already on a hot streak with Log Legs, so people are like, hell yeah, like no, people are already gonna pay for that. Like they don't need to do too much marketing.
Yeah.
With Hard Eyes, it's a smaller movie. It's a goofy movie. It's a horror comedy. Clearly, I think it could possibly be that one. It can't be Companion. Ain't no way.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah.
For them to do that,
I'm
like,
gonna say Hard Eyes, but I really want it to be Monkey. Give me the Monkey, dude.
hopefully it's the monkey, but yeah.
Fingers crossed, man. Oh man, I'd be so happy. Yeah, I even had to look up Black Phone 2. I'm like, is that done filming? I think it's just about to finish filming. So I'm like, okay, it's not that. It's
Yep.
not that at all. But yeah, we'll see, man. I just hope it's good. Just hope it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Whatever we see that night.
I'm gonna be real.
What would be cool if we actually saw something different, both of us, like it wasn't the same movie. Maybe.
I don't think they would do that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be that cool, right?
Our run times are this.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah.
It's
I
also
don't
like
know.
at the end of the day, AMC, it's like a corporate thing, like AMC, like sure they gotta follow guide, like they can't just do that.
Yeah, probably. They're
Sure,
like,
there's
no,
like a
you.
contract or something.
Yeah, it could be, but I don't know. I don't know how it works. But it is possible. Either way, I'm excited for all of them coming out. Like we have a good slate of horror movies coming out the first half of 2025. Like I love it. We're just going right into it. There's a few movies on Shudder I know that are apparently coming out that are really really they got like good word of mouth going. Dude, Clown in a Cornfield is a Shudder movie. That threw me off. Like kind of I mean, not to say that Shudder has bad movies because there are movies on Shudder that I really like, but it is like a shocking place to like put that in there.
Yeah.
I thought it because I originally read it was Netflix. I could have misread that. I don't know. I didn't hear it was going to be Shudder, but it also has like RJE Studios. I think that's the name of it, and they've made a good set of films before. So, and it's from the dude that made that movie Eli on Netflix, which I heard good things about that movie. I heard it was genuinely creepy, but I haven't seen it myself. Either way, I'm curious. I'm curious to see like how that's gonna turn out because I really enjoyed those first two books. So we'll see if they pull it off with this movie.
Has the third one released?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I gotta read that.
Yeah, no, I have the audio book. I just haven't given a listen yet. But we'll see. If anything, we can do like a video on that or something in the future on this trilogy of books. I may need you to recap me on a few things because there's a few things in those books that I do not remember. So I don't know.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna have to definitely ask you some questions. But yeah, looking forward to those next movies. I think that's gonna do it for this episode, honestly. Um, so yeah, that was our reviews for Presence and Wolfman. Did you see these movies and what did you think about them? Did you like these movies? Did you hate them? What would you rate it out of 10? Comment down below and let us know. Hit that like and subscribe button. Once again, I am your co-host Brandon.
I am Jerry.
This has been American Werewolves. Stay spooky.
You should not go looking for trouble or condition.